call the meeting to order. First item of business is the election of the chair. I would open the floor at this time for nominations for chairman.
I nominate Mr. D.D. Leonard.
I'd like to second that.
All right, I have a nomination and a second for that nomination. Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, all in favor, let it be known saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Mr. Leonard, congratulations. I'll ask you to swap seats. Thank you. We'll realign you by district next week. So.
Thanks, sir. Thank you guys for putting your trust in me for this upcoming year. Next on the agenda is election of vice chairman. I'd like to nominate Mr. Brian Shoemaker.
Sir.
Okay, you got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, before we go into the next item on the agenda, I just first of all like to say welcome to the board, new board members. I think we got a good group of people here to a lot of different ideas coming on board. So, you know, I'm looking forward to working with each and every one of you guys. And also we got Mr. Robbie Wright, you know, on now with us. So, you know, we got a big workforce here now to work with. So appreciate everybody. Next order of business is establishing the time, date, and place of regular meetings. Anybody got any?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to say if we can do 6, it would help me out tremendously. Don't matter the day of the week, don't matter to me, just 6 o'clock. We'll leave the same day or whatever, it don't matter, just a little bit later time.
Make a motion to do it the third Tuesday of the month at 6 o'clock p.m.
Okay, got a motion? I'll second. Okay, second. Got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, next on, you got that, didn't you, Dane? Third?
Yes.
Third Tuesday each month at 6 p.m. Next is rules of procedure. Anybody got see any changes they want to ask about making, or are we good with our current rules of procedure?
I make a motion this week.
Okay, got a motion, got a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Next on the agenda is departmental reports. Got the building inspector, extension office, and works program. Everybody have a chance to look over those, and do you have any questions?
If I may say one thing, I was very impressed with our meeting in December with Mr. Carter. I thought he is #1.
Oh, you talking? Oh,
Oh, you wasn't there, the rest of us was.
Okay.
We met with him and Dane introduced us to him and this, reading this here, I was very impressed with him.
Yeah, he's a good one. Any more comments or? Okay, we'll move on to public expression. We have anybody here for public expression? Okay, hearing none, we'll move right along to approval of minutes. November the 2nd, 2023 recess meeting, November 13th, 2023 recess meeting, December 19th, 2023 regular meeting. I give that a little bit of thought there on the way down, but I'm the only one.
There are some meetings that I go to, people will abstain if they weren't present at the meeting, but this is just a review of the business of the meeting. And I will vote on minutes even if I was absent for the prior meeting. I'll read them if they appear to be correct and there's no objections from those who were there. I don't see an issue with voting aye on those. If the new board members are hesitant to do that, if a motion's made, you can still make a motion and second it for approval. And if you're the only aye vote and all four of them abstain, it passes and the minutes are approved either way.
Okay, I didn't want to clarify that. I'm sure they probably had the same questions, I guess, but I make a motion to approve the minutes. Second of all three, and got a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, next item on the agenda is payroll. The county administrator reports that payroll warrants have been issued and approval of disbursements. And I would make a motion that we pay our bills.
Make a second.
Okay, got a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, next we got old business. You want to take over there?
On the donated real estate, we're still trying to work out an issue on one of those. When you get into the tax records, sometimes you find some odd things. And the description that had been found that they thought fit the property was incorrect. We'd sent the deed out, and the property owner said that was the incorrect description of the property. Gave some additional information. I have found another deed that matches it as far as the acreage. It's hard to pinpoint sometimes where these are at when they just say they're somewhere in a certain magisterial district in the community. This one in particular was in the community of Benhurst. But the issue we have is that the two individuals who are proposing to donate the property, county attorney's not been able to verify that they can't find the proper chain of title of how it came down to them. We know it passed through their mother and her family, but we can't find anything on heirs. We found affidavit where they're the heirs of their mother's estate when she passed, but this goes back to this lady's grandparents. So still trying to resolve that at this point, and I think the county attorney is going to contact them to see if they can provide any documentation on that.
Well, because there's nothing on file. There's no
Right.
documentation on file.
Nothing in our clerk's office on that. So there's another property at St. Charles. We're still trying to nail that down, make sure we've got the right tract of property, and to determine that we know who all the heirs are. One of the heirs has contacted us, but there are at least probably 7 heirs on that property. So we just need to make sure that we've got the complete list on that. On the next item on that is the generator maintenance proposal. This is a carryover from last month. In your packet is a proposal for maintenance on the 911 generator. This is from Cummins Sales and Service out of Knoxville. Proposal is for preventative service and maintenance of the generator unit for a 5-year period. The total proposed cost is $19,296.38. The annual payments fluctuate. They range anywhere from a little over $3,500 to about $4,150 based on what services are provided each year. The agreement provides for semi-annual inspections every year and annual servicing of the unit, as well as in years 2 and 4 of the agreement, they would do load testing on the unit to ensure that it can handle the load that will be shifted to it if the power goes out. It doesn't just cover 911, but it actually covers all of the lower floor, the sheriff's office and 911 operations as well. Ensuring that this unit is reliable to perform is vital to maintaining our emergency communications network in the event of emergency or a power outage. So, like I said, in addition to powering the 911 dispatch center, it also includes all IT equipment on that floor. It's actually tied to one of the systems on our floor in our office, and it also provides power to the entire lower level, as well as powering our phone system, so that if we lose power, we at least have phones throughout the courthouse regardless.
Any questions or comments on that proposal?
There was some hesitancy last month because it is a 5-year agreement that they didn't want to obligate the new board to something for that period of time, so.
My thoughts on that is to go with the 5-year plan, because you get more for your money in volume, you know, you should, I mean, that's my thoughts on it. If anybody else has got any.
In form of a motion.
If that's what it needs to be. But it was starting out as an opinion.
Yeah. Well, we don't need no opinions. Them people out there get their opinions.
I make the motion.
I'm just kidding.
We're here to enjoy ourselves. I make a motion that we go with the 5-year plan.
I'll second.
Okay, got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
The next item is carryover from last month, actually probably, last month. We had budgeted for a new truck for animal control. We have 2 trucks in that department. One of them is a 2013 model. We've been advised by the mechanic that we need to look at replacing it, that it is going to have some issues very soon. We went out for bid on this. We only got one response. This was from Morgan McClure Chevrolet in Coburn. They priced 2 different vehicles. Both of them are long wheelbase. They have to be. This unit has a slide-in dog box in it. It was built specifically for a Ford pickup at the time it was built in 2013. Manufactured was out of Texas. But that's the hesitation we've had on this, these both just being Chevrolets and not being able to get a quote from any Ford dealer. I think this was sent out to 8 or 9 dealers in the region. And, but after talking to the animal control officer, and I think he's talked to the mechanic some on it, they're fairly confident with the unit. Instead of pulling it out of the truck, they'd have to actually take it out of the truck and disconnect it from it to measure everything. And then we'd have to go to a Chevrolet lot and find the long wheelbase truck with an 8-foot bed to take the same measurement. We got some of the measurements from the dealer, manufacturer's measurements, but it's not everything that they needed to see. But they're fairly confident that they would be able to make some minor modifications to the bed, to the sliding unit, that it would fit inside of a Chevrolet.
Have you checked the measurement on Clint's truck? Because I don't think the body style has changed since Clint's truck.
I hadn't thought about his, but I'm trying to remember if his is an 8-foot bed.
I think it is.
Okay.
But it is, and another thing I was getting at, that motor that Clint, I mean, this may be minuscule, but that motor is a relatively new motor that is in Clint's. And the V8 is a tried and proven motor, so that is my thoughts. Which one do we want to go with there? But you could, I think you could probably get your dimensions from Clint's truck.
We could do that and postpone this, because these are gonna have to be ordered regardless. And, I mean, as far as personal preferences, with the weight of that sliding unit and that they're carrying, I think you'd be better served with the V8 other than the turbocharged 4-cylinder.
We do know the track record of the 5.3, the V8 there.
But, yeah, we could take this up next month, and we can get closer measurements if that truck is an 8-foot bed. I can't recall how we spec that one out. I can't remember if it's an extended cab or if it's a regular cab, but, we can check it.
I'd say for that price, it's probably just a regular cab.
So you want a motion to table that to next month, or just take that up next month? Do we need a motion on that?
I don't need a motion. I think
Okay.
we just move it out and check on it. The last item is, and actually, Mr. Chairman, this was brought up to you last month, Works Program Employee Assisting Animal Control. I began that discussion, but with everything going on here at holidays and year end, I haven't been able to get everybody to the table at the same time, so. we're
Well,
trying
to bring the new board up to speed, what my thoughts was on that, we got one of their employees has been off for quite some time, and needless to say, the trash hasn't slowed down. You know, littering hasn't slowed down. Household litter around properties or out on the highway. So I thought maybe, you know, we might get together with, I know you're getting hard of hearing back here. Sorry about that. But anyway, what I thought is the fact that if we didn't have enough for 2 people to be in there all the time in our works program, that maybe Megan could help out some over there with the litter control part of our animal control anyway, to try to help them out, because they are running. I know they're running thin, and with the hours that they have to work, it was just an idea I wanted to throw out there. Seemed like everybody thought it was, you know, it would work.
I've talked with her, and she had some preliminary apprehensions. She said, well, is this every day? I said, no, it wouldn't be all the time. But I said, it'd be on the days that you all can schedule it. And so I just need to get together with her and animal control and see what we can work out.
What is the timetable to be able to advertise for the part-time help there, probably? Because the third guy, are we gonna go back with 3?
Well, that's a decision of the board, but the position is still there. He's still on lead time right now.
What's the time period? You got any idea?
Mid-February.
Because I think there's a lot of things he's gonna hinge around that position.
I talked to the Human Resources employee last week on that, and she was updating me on his time. So that's going to run right around mid to probably maybe the 20th of February, somewhere in that range. So the decision will have to be made about that time.
Can nothing be advertised before then?
Well, the position's basically been unfilled for the past several months anyway, so I mean, if the board wants to go ahead and, I mean, it's hard to advertise a position for someone when they're still in that position technically.
I realize that, but I didn't know if these words you could.
We can advertise for something, but it doesn't mean you have to hire for it.
Yeah, that was my thoughts, Roger, getting the help until we find out. Because it is a cost to advertise too, especially if we advertise with no plans on hiring anybody.
Question. So, I'm gonna ask Dane, can we not bring these people into a board meeting so we can ask questions, figure out what's going on in the department, see, and make a real good choice of what to do here? I mean, can we not ask them to come to a board meeting to address some of these questions?
Well, if it's on, particularly on this position,
Not the position,
Okay.
but maybe the split position, what they do, how many hours they putting in, that kind of thing.
well, yeah, that's something
I'd like
that
to
the
see
board
that
wants
happen
to talk
really
with
before
them
we voted
together.
on any of it, so we could hear from the people on the ground there, because I don't know what they do
Okay.
on a daily basis, but, I mean, you're up to speed a lot, I'm sure some of these guys would like to hear from them too. That's just a request of me, I guess.
Well, it's a good idea to have them come in.
I'd like to hear from them, we can make a real good decision hearing from everybody. And we know the situation with the employee, but the department itself is all I'm talking about.
I can have them at the next meeting.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm sorry, you all reprimand me, yeah, but the board used to have department heads come in, and that's what Mike was getting at. They used to have department heads to come in and give their reports. Do we need to go back to doing that?
You want me to answer? What I've been told in that situation, that it turns into 4 to 6 hours sitting here waiting on everybody to get done asking questions.
Okay.
If it's a real topic that we need to tackle, like this one seems like it, bring them in.
Yeah.
You know, the quarterly reports becomes reading class to some extent, because they'll come in and read the report, and then if there are specific questions. But typically, those questions don't have a lot to do with what's in the report. It may have something else to do with the job. And those are relevant questions that you can ask at any time. And if there's an individual board member, if the full board's doesn't have an issue on something, but an individual member wants an answer to something, you can contact that department head and just talk to them.
Right.
I mean, they're happy to talk to you outside the meeting. But if you want them in at a full board meeting to discuss something, that's perfectly fine.
So you'd advise against doing that?
Pardon?
You'd advise against doing that?
Well, I didn't see that it was really that beneficial in the past. It's been done that, it's been oral reports off and on at different times through the years, and I think you garner just as much out of reading their report as you do out of hearing it.
Well, some of it, we looked at the fact that some of them, Mike's idea was a good one. I think, if you've got particular questions you need to ask them to get brought up to speed on, you bring them in. But on the other hand, some of those are our employees, and you bring them in, and they're gonna get comp time for reading you what you already got in your report right here. That you have a week prior to your meeting, they're just gonna read that unless you got some question for them. You know what I'm saying?
I came to a meeting once up here, and they spent an hour talking about this trash, that trash, this tire, these spare tires, these junk tires. That's in here, and I want to hear from these people. I do. There's a rumor that this board wants to get rid of the works program. I'm not one of these board members, so I like to sit and say to these people, what do you do? What do you need? I'm here to help. That's the only reason I said bring them in. I mean, it clears up a lot of unnecessary rumors, we'll put it that way.
Right.
Now, you want like for the, you want somebody from Works Program and somebody from Litter Control at the next meeting, is that what you're asking for?
I think it'd be great, especially if we split employees.
That's what I wrote down.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I
Well,
was gonna bring
just
Alan and
clarify,
Megan
yeah.
up in.
Okay. Sounds good.
And if you got a department that you see that we needed to bring in the same way, we can. And even that, I think.
Any more question on that? Or any of the items that were mentioned? If not, we'll move on to new business on board appointments. First one is Appalachian Community Action and Development Agency. Mr. Charles Slim Jr. was currently on there.
So so I'm gonna ask as a dummy, I'm gonna play dummy again. So as we go through these, can you give us a rundown of what they do and why they're there?
As best I can, yes.
I
will.
appreciate it.
Appalachian Community Action, they're based out of Gate City. They do have an office here behind the courthouse. They provide some home repair services. One of the primary things they do is insulation, providing insulation services to homes that are under or not insulated at all, to improve circumstances for the living conditions of those homes. There's some other things they do that get into social issues. A lot of agencies sort of seem to cross over on that. But the home repairs and working with them, they do some work in workforce training a little bit, but they're not part of the workforce training network. And they've been providing services here in the county for many years. Used to be RADA, and they had a name change several years ago. And they have other citizen members on their board that they elect out in the communities.
Right.
They opened this up to include members of the Board of Supervisors several years ago to get input there. And it is typically what they're looking for as a member of the board.
And that board member, what's the duties of that member to whoever takes this position?
I mean, I don't know how many total board members they have with their agency, but you just meet, you're a board member on that agency's board.
Anybody got any more questions? I'd make a motion to nominate Mr. Josh Flanders.
I'll say.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, Building Code of Appeals.
Building Code Appeals, which there's only one up this time, it's Mr. Leonard's, but I'll go ahead and brief you on it. They would hear any appeal that a citizen would make on a decision by the building official. They have the right to appeal decisions of the building code official. And there's a 5-member board that would serve on that to hear that appeal and make a decision on whether they felt like the building official was justified in the decision they made or whether they should overturn it. I will advise you, in at least 27 years, and it's longer than that, they've never had to meet. We've been close a couple of times, but they worked it out before it actually went to the appeals board. Do you have anybody, Mr. Sheriff?
I see Mr. Stapleton's on here from Keokee. Is that a good?
No, he can't do it anymore. I just make a motion to table until find somebody.
I'll say.
Okay, got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, next we got the Cole Hall Road Committee, and I'm on it right now.
The Cohall Road Committee is another that has not been active in years. And the reason is the coal severance tax when we were collecting coal severance tax and coal was being mined in the county, a portion of that went into the Coal Hall Road Fund. Half of the tax went to the general fund, half of it went to the Coal Road Improvement Fund. Those funds would accumulate. For years, the county would use those to match revenue sharing funds through Virginia Department of Transportation. And it basically doubles your money that you could use to improve coal haul roads. But with the decline in coal, and we collected some severance tax about 3 or 4 years ago, and we haven't collected any since, and it had been probably 5 years prior to that we had not collected any. So the program is not active right at this point. But the Coal Haul Road Committee, which includes typically a board member, a citizen member, and representative from VDOT, and there's one other, and I'm trying to remember who that position is. I don't have the list of appointments with me tonight. I forgot to bring it. But it's not been active in several years because there's no need for it, because there's no funds to work with.
So do we need to put anybody on it, or does it matter?
You could go ahead and put someone on.
I'll make a motion, D.D. Leonard is on the board, on that committee.
I said,
Okay, got a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, next we got the Community Policy and Management Team.
This is again typically a board member. Their community policy and management team works, it's separate from the social services board. It has to do with the Children's Services Act. At-risk youth and children who are being provided services through Department of Social Services, through CSA funding. The policy, the Community Policy and Management Team is the policy board that oversees that work. They approve the staff sets up action plans and services to be provided, but as far as overseeing payment of bills, approving issues, and when matters come up, dealing with those services that are being provided, all that's taken up by the Community Policy and Management Team. They have representatives from Court Service Unit and DSS, Board of Supervisors, different agencies, school superintendents involved. He's on that board, different ones. So that's what that position is. This board has one appointment to it.
Anybody want to volunteer?
It is a daytime meeting.
I'll vote.
Okay. I'd make a motion, nominate Mike Kidwell for Community Policy and Management Team.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, Emergency Management Director.
Emergency Management Director is typically a member of the board. It can be a designee, but typically it is a member of the board. You have an Emergency Management Coordinator who is already in place. The 911 Director serves as Emergency Management Coordinator. Emergency Management Director has the authority in being able to declare an emergency if the Emergency Management Coordinator is out on site or working, developing an emergency. They usually are in contact with the Emergency Management Director, who officially gives the okay to make that call to declare an emergency. But in a lot of cases, most of the time, he is a member of the board.
Make a motion, to nominate Josh Flannery.
Second. Got a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Next, we got Atlanta Wisco Planning District Commission. We got 4 members to put on there.
I'll volunteer for one position.
Okay, I'll go ahead and make a motion to nominate Josh Flannery for Atlanta Wisco.
second.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'll volunteer as well.
Okay, I'll make a motion to nominate Mike Kidwell for member of the Atlanta Wisco Board.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? And I'll make a motion to nominate Brian Shoemaker as a
Second.
member. Got a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nominate D.D. Leonard.
Second.
Okay, got a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we got them 4. Now we got the Regional Industrial Facilities Authority.
The Regional Industrial Facilities Authority is somewhat new, been in existence for about 4 years.
Maybe closing?
At least 4, maybe 5, because Eric was serving when he was here. This is the state has for several years now encouraged regional approaches to issues. And one of the things that came about with regional industrial authorities is it gave us through that mechanism, the ability to do revenue sharing with other counties on industrial or economic development projects. You're not required to participate in any particular project. It gives you the ability. Currently, our regional authority is made up of Lee, Wise, Scott, Dickinson County, and the city of Norton. Now, most of these authorities were drawn up based on their planning districts, which would be Lee, Wise, Scott, and Norton. But in this case, Dickinson County sort of felt more of a kinship with our group in trying to work in economic development and wanted to be a part of our RIFA, so that's how it was structured and made up. We work on, again, regional economic development projects. At the current time, no one has been asked to put up any funding. We're working on a couple of different solid projects. One is what's called Project Intersection in the city of Norton. If they're at the intersection of the main road through Norton, I don't remember the route number, and 23 as it crosses there. If you look up on that old strip job, that it's been graded out, different pads, and putting 4 different pads up there. They've already developing one site for Earthlink. Earthlink is going to establish, they've already got an operation there in Wise County. They put them in temporary quarters out at their industrial park, but they're building a new building up there for them. That money has all been done through various sources of funding. The localities, we're all participants in it, so no one had to put up any money because it hadn't been grant funded at this point. We're also working on a couple of other projects. One of those is to convert or recondition, I guess, an old coal loading site to where they can load grain. We did test plots of, Lee County's had test plots of grain for the last 2 years, I think. Scott County's been doing some test plots on grain as well. I think Lee County crops did better than Scott County's did. That would be a loading facility for that grain to move out of this region. So both those are projects on the RIFA. Other things are being looked at and nothing necessarily developed at this point. But through that, if Wise and Lee County came up with a project that both felt was beneficial to them, each one could put funding into a project, and then regardless of where it was located, whether it was located in Lee County or in Wise County, we would both share the revenue that was generated out of that through property and equipment taxes and things of that nature. And it would be based on the proportion to the funding that you put into the project. So each project that would materialize, the participating localities pick and choose which ones they want to participate in based on how beneficial they think it would be to them. So that's what this board does.
Does the home county benefit more than the outside counties that's in that? Like you're saying the grain loadout, are they gonna benefit more? So do we need to push to more to get whatever's going on in Lee County?
Sometimes the project drives the location. And actually, the project intersection I was talking about is basically a gift from the Norton IDA. Norton IDA was trying to work on that project to start with. It gives it, probably gives you a better opportunity to get additional grant funding and larger pots of grant funding by having it as a regional approach. Rather than just the city of Norton applying for the grants, you've got 4 counties in the city that are making the application. And, but they were already investigating and exploring and trying to get that project developed. They actually had some grant funds in the pipeline, and they put that into the river and transferred ownership to the river for that project. So, I mean, each of us, yes, would like to come up with projects that would be based in our county. There is a little bit of advantage. There's an extra, I think there's an extra share that's allotted to the home county. But the rest of the profit sharing or the revenue sharing is determined by the proportion of the funding that's put into it. Typically, and it makes no difference, typically the appointees on this currently are primarily county administrators and economic development directors, but it can be board members, it can be whoever.
In lieu of your retirement, would you like to stay on that board?
Well, if I stay on, I'm taking Mr. Wright to every meeting.
I agree. I'm nominating both of you as a motion.
He's going to be going to any of those meetings
Right.
at this time that I go to, even whether he's on there or not. I want him to be familiar with the goings on of each of those. But we do have 2 slots.
I'll make a motion to nominate Mr. Poe and Mr. Wright. Unless there's a board member that wants something, we'll make it up in
I
We
say,
could probably use an alternate, maybe. Didn't we talk about that recently in case?
Well, we can designate an alternate. If we can't be there,
Yeah.
we can designate someone to be
Yeah, we
there in our
talked
place
about
to vote.
Is Mr. Johnson, is anyone spoke to him? Is he?
He was former economic development director.
Got a motion and a second. Did you second?
Yes.
Okay. Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Next, we got road viewers, 5 of them.
Road viewers is another one that has not been used in years because this is tied to the rural addition program. And we have such a small amount of rural addition funds that come in. Years ago, they would have several roads to look at every year, and they would go out with VDOT, with a VDOT representative, and look at the various projects, and then come back in and make recommendations of whether to do those or whether those met the qualifications. The ultimate approval was with the Board of Supervisors. We've done like 3 rural additions in the last 15 years, simply because the funding source. The funding for that is 5% of the construction budget in Lee County for a year through VDOT, and that has been, in some years, the last few years, that's been less than $5,000 a year. It's starting to come up a little bit because they're adding some additional stuff in there with it, a portion of the right-of-way fees that the utility companies have to pay and things like that. But it's still a very small amount. And at the same time, the cost of building roadways has increased dramatically over what it used to be. So you could go ahead, if you want to give that a little bit of thought, to have somebody in mind. If you've got somebody ready and you want to go ahead and appoint them, that's fine. But again, we haven't utilized that committee in about 15 years.
I'll go ahead and make a motion to reappoint Vonda Dye in my district.
I'll say.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Anybody else got one? You want to wait till next month? Y'all want to table the others? Do you find somebody for yours?
yeah, make a motion to table 9.
About you, you got somebody, Josh?
I have.
You guys got one?
So by tabling this, does it leave the people active here or this?
It would, but again, we haven't had.
Used them in 15 years and I'm gonna.
Yeah. I was hoping that we're gonna have an immediate need to call them in.
Have you got somebody in mind?
I do not.
Okay.
But I do want to vote to remove the one that's on there.
I got you, so you want to table those other
Sure.
four
Yes.
positions till next month? Motion to table the other four.
I'll say.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, next we got the social services.
I'll make a motion to, have her remain on the current one there.
Got a motion, and I'll second
Ms.
that.
Walker.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor? Any
Aye.
opposed? Okay, next we got the Southwest Virginia Emergency Medical Services.
This is a regional group as well. Josh is probably familiar with the EMS, Southwest Virginia EMS. I can't tell you exactly what they do, but they help coordinate policies and different things for the region in providing EMS services. Do they review the grants?
They have, I don't think they have any part of that.
I don't
It's
think-
more
I
or less
didn't
about
think-
bringing programs to the area and
Yeah.
and allocations of funds, like proposals for some things,
Right.
and different programs and trainings and stuff like that. From my understanding, the current person that is in the position, Ms. Ayers there, her health has declined some, so I'm gonna make a motion that we add Adam Sherrick.
They got a motion to nominate Adam Sheridan, I'd second that. Got a motion and a second, all in favor? Any opposed? Okay, next we got the Southwest Virginia Health Authority.
The Southwest Virginia Health Authority was created a few years ago, primarily to help to ensure that adequate medical facilities and services are available throughout Southwest Virginia. I guess one of the biggest tasks that they undertook since they've been created is that in the Wellmont Mountain States merger, of course it involved both states, but the Southwest Virginia Health Authority was charged with reviewing that merger, digging into it, and determining whether to make a recommendation that it be allowed to take place and approved, and also setting the conditions on which that merger could take place and be approved at the state level. One of the things that they did that most impacted Lee County was that there was a stipulation included in their recommendation to allow the merger to move forward on the basis that they would establish a hospital in Lee County. And so that was one of the major actions that they've taken over the last few years. I don't know how often they meet at this point. I don't know if they meet annually. I would suspect they meet at least annually, probably in the Addington area, but I don't think they meet on a regular basis like they did at that time.
Any takers?
I'll take it, anybody's interested in it.
Nominate Josh Snyder.
I've got a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, next we got the Southwest Regional Jail Authority, 3 positions.
The 3 positions on there, I will tell you that the sheriff's position is automatic. That is by code. That they are an automatic appointment to that. You will need to concur on that. The other 2 are open.
Got any takers on that?
I would nominate Mr. Leonard for that. He's already there.
What you wanted to be on?
Oh, no, I'm flying under the radar.
Okay, then we'll need another one.
I'll nominate, Brian Shoemaker.
Okay.
No,
Okay,
we need, if you're gonna do individual, do them by
Yeah.
motion for each one and deal with
That's
one
what I was
motion
fixing
first,
to-
or combine them into one.
Go ahead with it, man, if you want to.
Okay, got a motion to nominate Brian Shoemaker,
I'll second.
and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Make a motion to nominate D.D. Leonard from the Regional Jail Authority.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? On that, do we need an administrator or somebody?
It's not set by code, it can be anybody.
Because I know most of them have
And I can't remember if everybody does now or not, but a lot of them are, but it's not set by code.
okay,
Only the sheriff is set by code.
okay. Okay, next we got the Southwest Virginia Workforce Investment.
This is, we put it in our workforce, it's commonly referred to as the CLEO board, CLEO, that's the Chief Local Elected Officials Board. And this is a board that sets policy over workforce development issues within the 7-county Coalfield region. In the past, well, by stipulation as the chief local elected official, the chairman of the board is considered the chief local elected official. So that would automatically designate that spot to Mr. Leonard, unless he declines and designates someone else to do that. That's how Mr. Mosley had it at one time, and
I thought he had it for all
he had
the
it.
last
Yeah.
8 years.
And because everybody just designated to leave him on there, nobody else wanted it.
Well, I'm not so sure, like I say, I'm in and out, so I'm not so sure, how often they meet. I would prefer to, if the vice chair would consider that position. Okay. I would make a motion to make Brian Shoemaker the Southwest Virginia Workforce Investment.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, next we got the Upper Tennessee River Roundtable.
There's a memo in your packet on that, that there was an appointment, a reappointment made last month of Jolene Lambert for a 2-year term. Her appointment notification letter was returned undeliverable. The post office did put an address on it in Bristol. And I've been advised by someone else on that roundtable board that she does live in Bristol now. She does not live in Lee County any longer. So, you can leave her on there to represent you if you wish, or if you want to choose someone from Lee County to make that appointment for.
Anybody have anybody in mind, or we're gonna table that till next month, till you find somebody?
Is that one considered for the whole board appointment or somebody's district?
It's just for the whole county.
Okay.
It's a single appointment. And this is the roundtable consists of counties in Southwest Virginia and Northeast Tennessee.
Make a motion, we table this appointment.
Second.
Okay, got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, next we got Virginia Association of Counties Legislative Liaison.
This would be the person designated to be the contact with VACO, with the State Association of Counties. If you have issues that you want to take up with them, they would basically be your spokesperson to take that up with them.
nominate D.D. Leonard.
Well, that's another one I don't know that I was actually gonna nominate you.
And and here, you can do this, let me just say, this is a formal, appointment designation. You're not a member of a board or anything. Now, Waco does have a board of directors. Mr. Mosley served on there for about 8 years, 10 years maybe. Typically what happens if board members, have specific things that they'd like taken up by the General Assembly and you want VACO involved, you can delegate staff to contact them and, but you would still be the point of contact for the board with the Association of Counties.
It don't matter, whatever.
It doesn't matter, man.
I'll go ahead and make a motion to appoint Mr. Brian Shoemaker as the legislative liaison.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, next, we got item is IBM mainframe computer system maintenance renewal.
In fact, if you have a quote from Summit Business Associates in the amount of $4,676 for renewal of the county's hardware and software maintenance agreement for our IBM AS400 system, which is our main financial management system for the county. This includes maintenance services for the AS400 processor, the software programming, and the backup tape drive system that we have. This would be for a 1-year period. IBM at this point in time does not provide direct maintenance service for that unit. The company performs all of the updates, installs the updates on the machine. If we have trouble, any kind of problem at any point, they're the ones we turn to get it corrected and keep us going.
Anybody got any questions or discussion on that? I'll make a motion to renew the agreement.
I'll say.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, next we got the exterior cleaning of the courthouse and associated structures.
A few years ago, the county employed an engineering firm to prepare and advertise a bid to chemically clean the exterior of the building, as well as repoint all mortar joints. We received no bids, despite the engineer's efforts to identify and notify qualified vendors. At that point in time, it was decided to give it a little bit of time, wait and see if we could re-advertise later and possibly get bids. COVID came along and things just got pushed out a little bit further. Some people think that, well, you just come in and take a high-pressure washer to the building and clean everything out. But because of the age and the condition of the mortar joints on the old part of the courthouse especially, that is not recommended as an option, because you basically blow your mortar right out of the joints and loosen your brick up when you do that. What's been recommended and what's typically done on buildings like this is to do what they call a soft wash with chemicals and to clean it down. There is a company out of Harrogate, Tennessee, coming out, Pro Wash LLC. Had some off and on discussions with them over the past year. The owner has viewed the property and submitted a quote to clean both buildings in addition to all the retaining walls around the building, sidewalks and curbs, at a total cost of $17,500. This is probably, well, it is significantly cheaper than what we would have probably gotten bids for from the companies that were being contacted by the engineer. The company that did the one that did Wise County Courthouse several years ago was out of Pennsylvania. We contacted them when we put it out to bid, but they had let their Virginia contractor's license expire and would not come back in, which that would have also included repointing the mortar joints, which means, if you're familiar with that, you're just repairing the mortar joints to make sure everything's solid and tight again. As the mortar joints loosen up, it allows water, especially when you get wind and things blowing, to push back into your mortar joints around the brick. Freeze and thaw, and over time it'll loosen those brick. The brick below the parapet wall that goes above the roof line, most of that brick is, the mortar joints are still in pretty good shape. When you get to that parapet wall above that, they get pretty rough, and that work needs to take place, but the building needs to be cleaned first to identify all those points. And so we just sort of kicked this project down the road a little bit to see what we could come up with at a later date. And again, he's willing to do the work. It would be spring before he would come up and do the work. But I feel like this is probably a pretty good cost estimate on this, or a quote that he's given us. And again, this is for a soft wash chemical clean, not a power wash.
So this,
go ahead.
so this company, I've heard is a reputable company. They've done some bleacher cleaning at Thomas Walker, done good. The only thing about it, the quote says total $17,500 as of January 2nd.
Well, that's the date that he gave me, the quote, but he's saying that he will not perform the work until springtime.
Gotcha.
Is that both buildings?
Yes. Both buildings and the retaining walls.
It's been kicked around for how many years?
Oh, we probably first looked at this 5-6 years ago.
I know since I first came on the board, we've been trying to get it done.
And we delayed it to wait for a more opportune time to try to flesh out some other bidders to do the project. But when COVID came along, most of the emphasis on things shifted in a hurry.
Would this come out of the general fund, out of COVID money? Or?
This would come out of maintenance, property maintenance funds.
I make a motion that we go with this Cumberland Gap Pro Wash LLC for the price of $17,500.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Next, we got the hose and hose reel for the airport jet fuel tank.
County recently installed a 10,000-gallon tank to provide Jet A fuel cells at the airport. Per the specifications provided by the engineer at that time, the vendor provided a 50-foot by 1-inch fuel hose on a spring-loaded hose reel. Upon installation and operation, it was discovered that the fuel hose was too short to provide adequate access for fueling of aircraft, and the airport authority, of which a couple of the members, the chairman and vice chair, aren't you? Chairman and vice chair are here to answer any follow-up questions on this, but they would like to request the board consider approving the purchase of a 100-foot by 1-inch fuel hose and an electric-powered hose reel. The electric-powered hose reel with a longer hose is probably a better route to go. The spring-loaded, by the time you get that far out, it takes a lot of effort to get the spring to work, and then when it starts picking up momentum, it'll almost drag the person back into the hose.
They don't last very long either.
Yeah. Well, we've worked on ours several times.
Well, I think my understanding too, there's some planes that are having to turn around to
they can't
fill
reach.
one wing on
Right.
and then turn the plane around to fill the other wing, so that's kind of.
The cost for both of these is $4,122.59, and we do have, the airport authority was budgeted $5,000 under this year's budget. for needed equipment and supplies, so there is money budgeted to take care of this. If you have any questions, they're here to answer them.
I'll make a motion, we move forward with purchase of that.
I second that. Got a motion and a second to provide, to approve the $4,122.59 plus shipping for the hose and hose reel, 100-foot hose and hose reel. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Next, we got the parking lot snow removal quotes.
Our snow removal vendor ceased operations in 2022 due to health reasons and sold his business. We moved to another provider, but they notified us this year that they no longer have the equipment or the manpower to take this on. We got to try to shop around and look around for different ones that do this. Got a quote from HAC Construction out of Pennington Gap. The quote he provided was on the old pharmacy lot, which is across the street from the courthouse, and the social services parking lot. Initially, we did not include the sheriff parking lot because typically what happens down there, they have traffic coming and going continuously, and they pack it down before you can get in there to actually get the snow off of it. Now, with this most recent snow, since we didn't have anybody already under contract to do it, we went ahead and contacted this vendor to get them to push it off because we knew we had the extremely cold weather coming behind it. And I had them include the sheriff's office to get what they could off of it. Did pretty good. And then the health department requested that we try to get theirs pushed as well. So I don't have a bill on those yet, just going on the quotes that he gave us on that, and I got him on standby for that tonight. But if you want to look at someone else or some other company to do this, I'm certainly happy to do that. I was hoping we were getting ahead of the game, but the snow came in on us before we could get here. And he priced a lot of different things. We don't do pre-treatment, we don't do salt, and we don't do rock on the parking lots. Some of our lots have some age on them, cracks, and you start pouring salt down in those and the whole thing will come apart in a hurry.
Could I ask one question? Is it gonna be feasible to plow that parking lot? Because it is it's not but I mean, it's got some dips and humps and this and that. What's the thought on that lot?
Well, he cleared it.
Do pretty good.
He cleared it either Tuesday night, Monday night or Tuesday morning. And by yesterday, well, actually by late afternoon that day, a lot of the lot had already melted off and was fairly clear.
Well,
And it was probably clear yesterday.
I guess what I was getting at, I'm sorry, but what I was getting at, if it was uneven bad, if a snowplow was gonna gouge in and rile up what exists in the pavement we've got.
There's a dip on this western end on the back, on the northwest corner, sort of. There's a dip right in there. It's gradual enough that you can sort of follow the contour with the plow. And it appeared, I mean, I looked at it from over here, and it looked like it cleared most of it out. And I didn't see any damage to the pavement.
We'll play dumb again. Does the county not have a snowplow?
No.
How much does one cost? Did he have it?
We got quotes on one several years ago, but it's been a while. You have to have the plow and the connecting apparatus. We'd have to have it mounted on probably on one of the trucks over there. I don't know how much time it takes to hook them up. But then that would consist of a lot of after-hours work to get that done either at night or in the early morning.
Is this in Pennington, the city limits, Pennington? This company?
He lives on
He is
No.
from.
Big Hill.
Lives on Big Hill.
Yeah, I know the guy. If I might throw this out there, the county does have a good truck that is capable of that now. You put the mount on the truck, it stays there, and then you just hook the blade up. I mean, it's gonna be a pretty quick operation.
Quick attach.
Since once you throw that out there, I would suggest doing that. Purchasing a plow and doing it in-house.
If it's an every year thing, if we could.
Oh, it's every snow occurrence
Right.
typically.
Just a thought, I mean. it's
And you
just a
don't
thought.
have as many, like I say, last year, I don't know that we had a scrape piece.
Well, that's the thing, we got through last year. If it's just
It's something we
just
can
a
look
small amount of snow, I don't like to bother with the snow plow because it'll melt off on that pavement pretty quick, depending on what temperatures are gonna be.
I think we could get Gary to look, at the price quotes on
We
it.
can get a quote on
That's
one.
what I was gonna say, make a motion to, I guess, table this and check some prices and have it ready to go, make a decision next meeting.
I'm not opposed to using this guy, I mean, we might have to use him again tomorrow or something like
Right.
that. So,
I'm not
we
trying to
don't
knock
want-
anybody
We
out
don't
of
want
work.
to rule him plumb out.
Yeah, don't lock in a contract with him. You
No,
on an as-needed
no,
basis.
we're not under a contract.
just use them as
He
needed.
contacted me today, he just texted and said, we've not signed anything, and I know your meeting's not, do you want me to push it tonight if you need it? And I said, yes. So,
Yeah, that's good.
and I'll go ahead and throw this out, because one of them's still here. We have used a contractor for the airport, and Glass Machinery usually clears it when and that's on request. They don't just automatically go down there. But before we get too carried away, once we get a plow, there's a lot of work down there because you're dealing with a runway that's 75 feet wide and almost a mile long, plus the taxiway and the aprons and things like that. And when if you're pushing very much snow, it starts to pile up. And I know at times they've had, in heavy snow, they have to bring loaders in and things to keep it moved off of the runway and push it back part of it.
Yeah, I think we would be best served to keep them doing what they're doing down there. Just use a plow for this right here.
That's what I was getting at.
We don't need to run our county truck all over the county, no way.
Okay, that was
For snow plowing.
But I mean, I thought we was talking about just for,
Yeah, well, I just, before the idea blossomed, and we
Yeah.
got into that, or
oh,
someone else requested that we cover that
Yeah.
with county staff, I just wanted to be sure. That takes a lot of time to clear
that's gonna
that.
take a tandem truck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, we'll get quotes for next month and be ready.
Okay, next we got possible tipping fee increase.
This was something that the new board members discussed, and of course, the previous board increased this back in July, did a partial increase to get to where we are now. The current tipping fee that we charge was increased from $37.50 to $47.50 on July 1 of '23. It had been at the old rate for many years. When the City of Bristol landfill closed in 2022, our tipping cost increased more than 50% when we went with another landfill. And our transportation costs have also increased over the past 10 years. Current cost total for loading, transporting, and disposing of our waste is now at $59.39 per ton. So, the board may want to consider this in the very near future. Also, our loading and transportation contract expires April 30th of this year. I'm getting ready to put out bids on that now. And the original agreement for that was signed in 2014 with a 5-year renewal option. That was agreed to in late 2018, but we will be required to advertise that this time. Our solid waste disposal agreement is effective through August 31st of 2025. and it contains a renewal clause for an additional 3-year term if it's agreeable by both parties. So that's just for information tonight, how far you want to go.
I got a question. Somebody asked me about this and I didn't have an answer. If a person brings in a load of garbage, for instance, at $47.50 a ton over there, what about if you bring in a load of brush? Does that cost the same for a load of brush as it does a load of garbage?
That is $15. That's something I'd like to
Okay,
address.
so
in
say
closed
brush is
session.
charged at a different rate, because with the brush, we burn it. Now, not all wood, but if it's brush can be burned. Treated lumber cannot be burned. It's a construction debris, that can't be burned. But brush, tree debris, stuff like that, that can be burned. But after we burn it, we have to pick the ashes up and put that in the waste stream and send that for disposal. We can't keep the ashes on site. DEQ.
That's good info. I didn't know that.
So that's why we do charge, but we do charge at a lesser rate.
I would like to.
Is there anybody got any further discussion on this matter with the tipping fee?
I make the motion, we raise the tipping fee up to what it's costing the county to get rid of the trash. And put a provision in there that if the county incurs an increase in the future, it automatically goes up. There's no need in the county paying $12, $14 a ton to get rid of the prison's garbage.
Okay, we've got a motion to increase the tipping fee from,
I will second that motion there.
okay, let me finish this from, was it $47.50
Yeah, $47.50.
to $59.39 a ton?
So,
Is that what you all want to raise it to, $59.39, is that?
That's what it's costing.
That's our actual cost.
Okay,
Trucking and everything.
is that
Yeah.
the?
but before you
motion
vote
to-
on that, I think you said something about discussing that brush deal, closed session, right?
Yes.
So I think we have to discuss that out here, correct?
You think you have to discuss what out here?
What he's talking about, the rate about this brush, wouldn't that be open session content? It's no different than what he's saying right here, in my opinion.
I didn't even say you wanted to take it out of closed session.
Well,
There's no competition or anything
Right.
involved in that, so.
I think it would just depend on what the purpose of it, being
Well-
brought up in closed session versus.
And you might have something to add to his
okay,
motion, I'm sorry.
do we need to vote on that motion right there? And then we'll go to the garden, go to the brush.
Well, the tipping fee, you're talking about the tipping fee.
That's two different things, so,
Is it?
yes.
It's
The
a
brush is
different item.
It's
It
a
doesn't
different
fall
fee.
under a normal waste stream. It'll be a different rate.
Yeah,
unless it's-
we're talking about the tipping fee for
Garbage.
business and non-household waste.
So residential and commercial? Residential and commercial, or just commercial?
Just
Well,
business and
only
non-household.
what would be billable. It can come from a residence, but bag household garbage and normal items, there's no charge on that. That goes to the convenience center.
Unless you haul it in here and weigh it and all that.
Well, even if the individual hauls it in, but if it's something out of the ordinary of waste stream that we actually charge for,
Right.
that's a different issue.
Right.
Like the brush.
I think currently, correct me if I'm wrong, but currently, if you take something through the waste station over there now, if it is residential.
If it's
they
bag
put
trash,
put
they
in
just
there
dump it
and-
on the pad, there's no charge.
Right.
Gotcha. And I agree totally, it makes no sense to lose money every time you haul it out of here.
Okay, we got a motion and a second
I need an effective date for that in the motion.
is that to be, take effect immediately?
Yes, immediately.
You probably need to
Typically, we try to
advertise.
be able to post that and get it in the newspaper and at least post it on the site so that our customers know what's going on. If you want to make it February 1st.
February 1st.
Okay, and that gives us time to make the adjustments too. Otherwise, we'd be billing two different rates for the same month.
So that motion is to increase the tipping fee from $47.50, which is the current tipping fee, to $59.39, effective February the 1st, 2024.
Yes, for business and non-household waste.
Does that need to be put on there? On that motion?
That's basically what it's for.
Okay.
One about the provision to increase.
Okay, we got a motion, got a second?
Oh, and he did have, his provision was that it automatically increased as we incur increases.
Okay.
And we will know those, Bristol notify, or not Bristol, but
Wayne?
Waste Management notifies us in advance when theirs is going up and what the effective date is. So if that's part of the motion, we can just have it moved.
And have that go to the next month after the notification.
You want to add that to
Make
the
the increase.
motion? Okay, we got a motion, we got a second.
Let me ask one more thing. What, you said something about a contract with, so long with Waste Management.
Yeah, it's through August 31st of '25.
If we've got a contract with them, can they just sporadically raise it?
The contract calls for cost of living increases.
Okay.
And they also have a provision, Sullivan County, the state has a tax on it, a small amount, and then Sullivan County adds a host county fee. And they can vote from year to year to increase the host fee of what they charge.
Yeah, and our loading and transportation expires in April,
Right,
and that's subject to go up as well.
correct.
And it will on that.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, got a motion, got a second. Did you second that?
I will second that.
Okay, got a motion and a second. All in favor? Any opposed?
We brought up one thing on brush right there. Do we need to do that in closed session, or can we do that now?
Well, we know what you're asking.
I would make the motion to do away with the fee for the bringing in a brush. It might possibly help the county trucks going out and picking up brush at the sites.
But if we do away with the fee and people still continue to bring brush in, we're still gonna have to pay to dispose of that.
But
Ash.
I think in a few more meetings, I think we're going to have to really sit down and do some studying and some hard decisions on this garbage. And that would be one of them. But my thought is, these people is coming in with $2 or $3 worth of brush. I mean, is it worth the paperwork for the county to send out a bill for $2 or $3 for brush?
We typically don't send a bill out for less than $5, do
I don't think we have any less than 5.
we? Typically, I think what we were doing previously, we didn't send out a bill till it hit $5 mark. Because it wasn't worth the postage in the paper.
For me,
It really don't cost us anything to dispose of the brush. All you're doing is burning it.
Well, but we have to scoop the ashes up and put that in the waste stream and send that to the landfill. The ashes, that's why it's not dealing at full cost, because we're not disposing of the brush, we're disposing of the ash.
I guess I'd have to ask Roger, I wouldn't know that, but how much time would that be? How much time would that involve?
I think we need to just to do away with this and call it a service, and the taxpayers getting a little something for their money. That's the way I feel about it. I can say a thing or two, but I don't think I need to say it right here. If we could go back, maybe.
Is it something that you all take up for discussion at a later date?
After a while.
Well, it's fine.
Well, again, I'm gonna play dumb, because I am. Who makes a decision of what's brush, what's not brush? If you got 3 tires stuck in the middle of it, who looks at that? And
The scale house
Still
man.
operator.
so you got one guy deciding if somebody gets dumped for free or not.
Well, if it's got tires in it, tires are
Yeah.
separate classification
I
altogether.
know that, but is it, I mean, you got trustworthy people there and everything's great, or is it something that's people's paying for no reason?
I don't think we get trash in the brush pile.
If they're told when they call, if there's any garbage in it, it goes up to the tipping pad. You keep it separate.
Typically, how much are we sending out, that ash, are we sending out a year? How much time do you spend in actually?
I'd rather just,
I don't know, and there's no way to calculate the cost on how much, you can't say a ton of brush is gonna generate X
I'm
pounds of
talking about the
ash.
ash, how much are we keep
I don't
track
know how
of?
much we dispose of in a year, it's not a great amount.
So he made a motion for what I heard. Right.
To do away with the fee for brush on.
brush on it.
Yeah, I would second that. I mean, because these people are, they're probably gonna take it, dump it off the side of the road or anywhere else, or take it to one of the convenience sites, and then they gotta pick it up.
And could I say one more thing? I think the key to this is educating the public. And I know the county's got a website. I think all this stuff needs to be put on there, but we need to educate the public on things.
So if they dumped it at the convenience center, we pay a driver to bring it into the landfill?
Well, okay, I'm sorry, fellas, don't get mad at me, but the thing about it is, you cannot mix that stuff up with the rest of that stuff there. If you mix it up, it's going to Bristol, and
Well,
we're paying for that.
What you're saying, you gotta make another trip up there just for the brush, if there's somebody dumped a lot of brush right there.
If it's a tremendous amount.
Yeah.
Well, that's where I would take mine if you're gonna charge me $15 to get rid of it at the landfill.
They can,
Make
they
it rid of it
can,
free for right here, that's a no-brainer.
yeah, the rough truck operator, if they got appliances and they got furniture and mattresses, they can separate that. That's bulk items. So when they come in over here, they can separate that where it belongs. When you get brush in there and you start dropping other stuff down in it, it just, you can't separate, it takes forever to separate that back out.
If I'm not mistaken, Bristol don't want it anyway.
No, because it's a bulk item that's hard for them to handle. I mean, it takes up more.
I think it has to do with deterioration, doesn't it?
Yeah, it can rot and it causes subsidence in your cab.
Okay, we got a motion to eliminate the tipping fee for brush only.
I would second that.
Well, you made the motion.
He's on 30.
D already.
Okay, got a
Yeah.
motion, got a second?
Well, you said
Okay,
it.
I'll second it. I didn't know for sure if we did. Got a motion and a second, all in favor?
Ah,
Any opposed? Okay, we got the trash out of the way. Reports and recommendations of the county attorney.
Immediately. That's an easy call when you're eliminated.
I don't have anything to report, but I know you and I had spoken about having, I guess, for lack of a better term, just an informational kind of meeting regarding conflicts of interest.
Yeah,
and that
each,
kind of thing.
each member of the board, new and old, returning, excuse me, has to do a conflicts of interest training. And you have to go somewhere and take that training, or the county attorney can provide that. And she did that with the previous board. So you'll need to set a time, the date and time that will work for everybody, that she can provide that training. And it's mandatory, that's a state mandate.
Now it's just a group.
But it helps you to understand what is conflict of interest. It won't be, it's not that she can provide you an exhaustive list of what you can or can't do, but give you some guidelines and some examples on what you can and can't do when it comes to that. Is what constitutes conflict. So that is a required training that you'll need to take soon.
I think before we had just done it, maybe had scheduled it before a meeting or something like
Okay.
that, so it wasn't a separate day necessarily, but just however you all want to do that, we can try to get
That
you.
works good for
I
me.
don't know how early you can come.
Do like 5 o'clock.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would give us plenty of time.
I thought the chairman was maybe, I thought he passed a note suggesting it be held in South Carolina. I didn't know.
No.
I'll second that.
I would be in favor of that.
We don't want you to miss it.
To make it easy, if we want to do it before the next meeting, at 5 o'clock, we can go ahead.
Yeah.
I don't think you have to vote on it, just.
Everybody agree with that?
I'm good with
Of
that.
course, it would be, the 5 of us together, the 5 would be like a special meeting, I guess. Do we need to vote on it?
You can just recess.
And I think before we've just always done it in the conference room.
You recess to 5 o'clock on that date, and then coming out of that meeting, once that's done, you could adjourn and then go into your regular meeting. This is get ready for reports and recommendations of county administrator. Trying to get the jump.
Okay. Mr. Bose a little ahead of us here. Reports and recommendations of the county administrator.
I just had this one thing carried in tonight. It'll get better. Public Works Director, Superintendent Gary Collinsworth has advised that the tracks on the county's Caterpillar 308 excavator are worn out and need to be replaced. He's obtained the price quote from Carter Machinery for $6,328.28. This is the tracks, sprockets, and the bolts needed to make this change out. And it is needed. They're currently using that machine at the airport for brush removal, and they're having to do their turns and twists with care to make sure they don't slap that track.
Any questions or concerns? Open for a motion.
I will make the motion, we do this, it's gotta be done.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor? Any opposed?
That's all I have.
Your kid.
Oh, I'm serious.
I ain't believing it. Okay, reports and recommendations of the board. District 1.
So, explain to me what this is for. This is reports and recommendations of the board. I'm new to this board layout here. Is it for board comment and a recommendation on what we should be looking to do in the future, or what do you use this for?
Yes.
Yes.
On most, yeah. Now,
That's all I-
It's your time.
Oh, I will start by congratulating everybody that won, especially us that was opposed in a hard race, but congratulations to Mr. Wright. I look forward to working with everybody up here, and seems like it's gonna do really well while we're together here, seems like. So, thank you all. There's a lot of things on my list that I'd like to get to that I think we can do better, but pretty excited to serve the community. That's all I have.
Hey, you know, hey, I'm enjoying it. I look forward to it, and I guess I've told these other 4, I know I told DD, but gonna be my worst problem in this position is the pace of things, and you all, you're not gonna make me mad. can just tell me to slow down, but that will be my problem, is the pace of government, and I want this place to, I want Lee County to flourish, but we are, it's a tough time for everybody. That's all I've got.
I'm sorry, but the things that's listed in there is what I was really asking about and all that. We get to that now, or?
No, well, yeah, I need to take that up. Those are some things that they had mentioned in their informational sessions that they would like to take up.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe we was gonna go over that, separately, but.
Well, I mean,
Best we
yeah,
done,
I mean,
whatever.
you
I
can-
don't
you
know,
can
I
take them
wasn't
up
sure
one by
when they
one.
done that, so I don't know who brought them up, who wants to talk about it.
It's on this here.
I didn't know if they wanted to, the one that brought them up, that wanted to address them, or just take them in order and.
Do you all wanna take
Weigh in on the
those up, that's
discussion.
where you're, or you wanna take them up after each person individually?
Yeah, I think we done started to comment.
Okay, let's do that, we'll come back to those.
All right.
I just, congratulations, everybody, I look forward to working with you.
Sure, same thing.
Okay, I've just got one, of course, I've already voiced it, you know, I'm proud of this group, and hopefully we can accomplish a lot of stuff, hopefully. But I have one thing on here, is that it's a hot topic, is the parking lot pay to park issue. I'm getting hammered with that.
Me too.
So, we got a brand new board here that, you know, has some say-so in it now.
So my
The old
understanding-
board voted on it, and that's history, so, hey, what's your all's thoughts on that?
My thoughts are, there's 2 or 3 spots that's been sold
Two,
to the same person,
no,
2 different people.
two different people.
So how many is available?
10.
Okay, is it true that a car got towed and had to pay a tow bill because it wasn't marked?
It was towed, well, there's a sign up at the entrance to the parking lot. It's a weird setup, because the front half of the lot is striped and has a number in each parking spot. The back half is not marked and no identification, but there is a sign at the entry that states that the numbered spaces are reserved. I forget what else the sign says, I don't have it in my memory, but I had to word it such that people, as they enter the parking lot, would see that the numbered spaces are for reserved parking. In the lease agreements for the reserved parking, I put a statement or provision in there that the county would not put reserved signs up. They're there by number, because that's what the motion was when it was made to the board, or by the board. But I told each person who paid for a spot, they could put their own sign up if they wanted to. Well, this was particular instance, the space was paid for the day before, and the next day someone was parked in it. And we did not call to have the car towed, because that was one of my arguments all along, is we don't.
You no longer have authority over it.
We don't have time to monitor the parking lot.
All right.
And so they called a tow truck and had a vehicle towed that day. Mine, well, and it was a court reporter for a trial that's going on right now. The sheriff's office contacted the towing company. They released the car without a fee. So.
Can we make a motion on something on that right now?
What's your recommendation on it?
In my opinion, it's either all pay or no pay. Because a parking lot split half and half, my argument was that the public's not going to reserve parking spaces. And county employees get here, well, most of the offices are open at 8 o'clock. Constitutional offices typically open about 8:30. But most of them are here by 10 to 8. The public doesn't get here that early, even if they're coming for court. So county employees have their pick of the back 10 or 11 spaces that are free. And then you sit there all day and the rest of the lot is empty. Or it pushes people to parking on the street, which takes up spaces nearer the courthouse that the public could use, instead of having to walk so far. So, but having a lot that's split, half pay and half free, it just doesn't make sense to me.
And that reserve spot was for how long? The length of time?
They're for 90 days, they're 3-month leases.
Go ahead.
I would like to make the motion to do away with the fee, label it in county employees parking only. Like I say, do away with the fee and see how it goes. Reimburse these people their money and go from there.
Well, the people coming to court's gotta have a place to park too over there. Just make
And unless you mandate county employees to park there, there's people who've worked here for years, they have got their parking spot that they park in every day. They get here in time, they park in the same place. They have for years.
But they have not parked in that spot that long though.
Well, they don't park, I'm saying they would prefer to park where they normally do rather than to be forced to park over there in that parking lot.
Oh, I'm not saying it for, make them park there, I'm just saying it option, and not charge people, and make it an option for the county employees. And if we run into a problem with the county employees getting rooted out of there, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
So you're saying just
have to,
open parking, free parking for whoever?
No, I was saying label it out there, county employees.
yeah, I don't think you can do that because, you know, on tax time, at tax time, these people come down here paying their tax where they go park at.
Most of the complaints I've heard through, in my district is that there's very little parking down here, especially on court days. And like you said, during tax time and things like that. And I'd like to be able to make more parking more accessible for people here in the county to be able to come do their business here.
If you get the
That's like Dane said, the county employees are gonna be here first anyway, so they're gonna get their parking spot that they want anyway.
But it'll be off the street, and it's parking on the street road. And then that will be opened up for the public.
Well, they're still gonna park there, they're not gonna walk across the street, they don't have to. Would you?
No, I park right down here, just right in front of the courthouse where I'm parked and not crossing the
I
road.
think if you got in mind doing away with the pay for parking,
That's my big thing.
just make it open to the public.
First come, first served.
Yeah, first come, first served.
Can I ask for one other thing to be added to that?
Yes.
Let me strike the back half of the lot. I can get an extra parking space because
Yes.
there's a few that'll pull in there, they're not marked, so they take a little extra room. And I've already looked at it. You can get 10 there easy, but if everybody parks orderly, you can get 11 in there.
Well, how many's on the front row?
10,
Okay.
because there's a hatched off area where there's steps that go down to the sidewalk there. And he cross-hatched that off, which the other day, when we had 7 potential jurors here, they parked in that spot too.
That probably can't get done to warmer weather anyway.
If he catches warm weather and dry, he can do it. If he gets it above freezing. And I'd just like to get the rest of it dry. And we'll just take the sign down that says numbered spots are reserved.
And refund the people.
Well, that'd be
We can
effective,
refund that.
what, 3 months from now though, if they've already paid for 3 months?
Refund it to them.
Now, if you refund the full amount,
Yeah, whatever,
of course,
yeah, okay. So make sure
I just need a motion. with
the
that.
lawyer don't come back with us.
Not this long.
Rogers made a motion to eliminate the pay to park across the street over there and make it open to the public. First come, first served.
Do they have a contract that guarantees them that spot for 3 months?
We've got a lease agreement. I can check it. If you're going into closed session, I can check it while you're getting ready for closed session and can determine. I don't remember if I had it out in there. I don't remember how it's going.
But the problem you're gonna run into, or the problem right now is that if they leave for dinner, somebody can come back and get their spot, and way they're doing it right now. So I think there'd be less chaos to just do away with the fee.
Well, I'm good with doing away with the fee. I just want to make sure that we're not terminating a lease agreement
Yeah.
that we're locked into for 90 days.
I'd say just refund their money, wouldn't that?
I'm not a lawyer.
I'm looking at it.
Okay. That's right, I sent it to you, didn't I?
That's something we can rehash. You know,
Yeah,
if you
if you all
want to
wanna-
withdraw your motion, you can bring it
Bring
back
it
up
up after.
after closed session. You can come right back with it.
If you wanna add striping to the parking,
I was gonna make a motion, we do strike that part off.
I'd bring you back up, look at it in closed session, the lease part.
Yeah. Okay, got a motion to finish the striping, got a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I can tell you quickly, I think in reading this thing, it can be terminated by either party within 20 days notice. But we can look at it a little bit closer, but
Okay.
I think there's that stipulation on it.
Hey, Diane, it's sleeping outside, they need one to know, it's a sheet of ice on the front, I'm gonna saw it again.
Okay. Is the road bad yet, or just the
I got
sidewalk?
a call, and they said the road was getting slick.
Okay. Sidewalk is,
So, I think they need to know, so.
Appreciate it, Jerry.
okay.
I'll let you know if you want, I'll text you. Martin, I'll let you know what the road